wanna fly. Change. Fly up to the sky. UNC change up. Things rearrange up. This is since they get rid of past. Let the past be the past. UNC brand new. They're going to tell you. This is since they humble down ramish. The party have no more rubbish. But when I look around, what do I see? Recycled politicians. I see kangaroos like a salmon from Logan, hopping from bandwagon to wagon. So they polish and shine, then fall back in line. But that cannot thief my mind. Jump high, jump low, whether sun or rain. I am falling for that again.
That if you want to, in a sense, eliminate corruption in a society, and we all want to eliminate corruption in a society, the most effective way to do it is to make sure you don't punish people at the bottom, you punish people at the top. I'll tell you one story. In the 1960s, when Singapore was a very poor country then, our per capita income was 500. A government minister was invited by a businessman to go on holiday. Just a holiday, no bride. He and his family went on holiday with a businessman. He came back, he was arrested, charged, went to jail. After that, no more corruption. Because it's a very powerful signal that is sent when you go off the sum of the top. So Singapore's experience, and it's actually quite remarkable how you have almost zero corruption in Singapore, is because we decided that the example must come from the top.
No, Singapore will always be our go-to model. We use New York City and Singapore and Dubai. Diverse, Asian, Middle Eastern, United States of America. All three of those states are first world. New York City could stand on its own at a global level and play at a massive level. New York City by itself, Manhattan Island. Singapore, the Singapore experience is very dear to our hearts because Singapore got independence at the same time as us. But in Singapore, don't have gas and oil. Singapore had Lee Kuan Yew. Singapore had a vision for its people. Singapore had a no-nonsense tolerance to leadership that said they are going to accomplish certain things with what they had. Along the way, Trinidad and Tobago got gas and oil. Singapore didn't get gas and oil. Singapore had to make do with what they had. Yet, today, Singapore is a first world, progressive, developed nation with world boasts that they could make. They are drug-free. They have a 50-50 environment protection policy. Singapore is so far ahead of Trinidad and Tobago, while Trinidad and Tobago is a failed nation. We're a failed nation. If you do not believe we're a failed nation, because I had a conversation with a woman today who took umbrage with the fact that I said La Perouse Cemetery looks like a nuclear bomb was detonated in it. That's what it looks like. Now, she proceeded to post pictures of graves from when we were a colony, when people took pride even in their death to build mausoleums on their plots. And I respect that. I love it. I love those things. But that don't change the fact that the rest of La Perouse Cemetery, without that, looks like a massive shithole. La Perouse Cemetery is completely run down, degraded to the point as if that's what we were going for. No, La Perouse Cemetery is the cemetery in the capital of Port of Spain, capital of Trinidad and Tobago. La Perouse Cemetery should be indicative of what we are as a nation. And all this woman who considers herself a historian and she is documenting graves in La Perouse. And babe, Anne, I think you're right. Everybody needs to find something to do with the boredom of their lives. Document the freaking graves. I have no problem with that. But don't pretend for a minute that our failure to manage the cemetery has anything to do with it being a heritage site. It's not. There are some graves in there, some edifices in there, some monuments in there that themselves in isolation, maybe fence them and call them. In fact, move them. Put them somewhere where you could take care of them. Because the same picture she shared with me to tell me heritage. I was in La Perouse and vagrants shitting in the heritage. Vagrants sleeping in the heritage. When you walk in to the heritage, it's piss and graffiti. So miss me with the bullshit, because even what we inherit, we destroy. Ma'am, now I didn't want to engage you on Facebook because all of a sudden a lot of you all are all about sharing that you disagree with Philip Edward Alexander, and you want to get a rise out of me so that you could copy and paste and tell everybody that you're arguing with me for likes and shares. I'm beyond that bullshit now. But there is nothing, and La Perouse Cemetery tells you everything you need to know about how broken the nation state of Trinidad and Tobago is. La Perouse Cemetery is disgusting. It's unimaginably bad. La Perouse Cemetery, you look at a picture and you won't get the smell. You look at a picture of some of these graves and some of these monuments, and quite rightly they exist. They exist on the corner of Colville Street and Dragrin Road is the back of a wonderful marble edifice that we use to advertise Passa Passa and Back in Times parties. We don't care. We do not care. This is a nation. This is a nation that is deliberately broken. The local government, the city corporation, receives funding to take care of that. If it is insufficient funding, have the conversation. I have said that if the people who buy plots in the cemetery are not contributing to their upkeep, auction the plot. Auction the plot. Find the person. Find whoever is responsible for the plot. You can't sue the dead. So if you don't have a living person responsible with some endowment or something, there has to be a plan. There has to be a plan, because there are graves in that cemetery hundreds of years old. Comte de La Perouse, he donated or sold the land when there was the cholera epidemic, I believe. I think that is the history of it. I'm not sure. But La Perouse Cemetery is supposed to look like a cemetery in a capital city where people give a crap about themselves. And we don't. We don't give a crap about ourselves. We are broken because of 1% greed and 99% laziness. We are broken because of 1% greed and 99% apathy. We are a failed nation because of 1% greed and 99% don't give a shit. If you gave a shit, you would have told Vasant Bharat this morning, hey, miss us with your bullshit party that you're trying to form. Vasant Bharat went on Stephen Reed's show to say he dragged in Mariano Brown, Louis Lissing, Timothy Hammersmith. Those three names have been called in 7 parties. I'm not lying to you. In 7 parties so far that might be formed. Now, I was involved in the formation of a party with Timothy Hammersmith, and he has a couple $100,000 to throw at something. But that's about it. It goes nowhere. These fellas not committed to actually trying to erect and effect change. They're interested in pelting a stone and hitting a mango. They want to hustle and win. They're not interested in the work, because Vasant Bharat sat on his well-endowed ass for the past 4 years, and he wants to form a party called Me Too. Me Too. And I had to laugh. Because listening to Vasant Bharat try to twist and turn and get away from everybody on the trend, on Stephen Rees' trend, telling him, but this man just parroting PEP policies. The only reason for Vasant Bharat to call that party Me Too is that everything PEP say as a policy, Vasant say, Me Too. If PEP say we will lower the cost of living, and here's how Vasant say Me Too. If we will make jobs a priority, Vasant say Me Too. Stephen Cadiz and the same 4 rows of chairs that went to the same 4 meetings at the Guardian, published Guardian, waste the time, jam it up St. Vincent Street. This is all our history. Like La Perouse Cemetery, I walked past those walls every single school day that I was in St. Mary's College, dragging my finger along down that broken stone wall. And every single day, I did not know I was a schoolboy. But all of my life, I did not know, and I could have gone on for the rest of my life. I buried my sister the day before yesterday. Monday, we buried her Monday, yesterday. Tuesday, we buried her yesterday. It's been a long 9 days. But watching, holding my mother's hand and telling her, step up, step down, watch this spike, watch that rod, watch this hole. It was ridiculous how bad La Perouse Cemetery is. How really, really bad. And people like Vasant Bharat, who has had government, Stephen Cadiz, who has had government, Louis Leasing, who was a mayor of Port of Spain, who had responsibility for La Perouse Cemetery. These sons of bitches have no rhyme, right, or reason to be coming to talk to you right now, when the only Me Too they ever knew was when food was sharing Me Too. And Vasant, you're talking about Stuart Young, but you had 3 ministries under Kamala. 3. What did you accomplish for anybody but yourself, Vasant? Tell the nation. Stefan said this morning that people talking about Vasant Bharat owning some house in Bayshore. I don't know about Vasant and a house in Bayshore, but I know Vasant Bharat can help the nation about 3 Calco checks, Ada Aboud Polonais, and a house in Shawlands. I know that Vasant Bharat have information to that effect, and he could help that out. I know Vasant Bharat had information about Mittal House in Goodwood Park, and who spent millions of dollars to change and renovate both those houses at the same time. Now you could go Oman and Dubai and wherever, Kazakhstan, and if you could, go. Because you are of no value to this country. You've not been valuable with the dog rice that you wasted our money. You've not been valuable when you took a painting off National Flour Mill's wall and gave to Miss Trinidad and Tobago when you was looking to get a brush. You are of no value to this nation when you ran over that person's foot and run away, pelt some money out the window. You will never be of value to this country. And all that you, Mariano Brown, Louis Leasing, and Timothy Hammersmith will ever be able to form is a knife and fork, upper middle class, upper class party that has no clue about how life on the bottom really is. You don't know. And the problem is you don't give a shit to know. And that is why your following will always be Bagwansing and them. Your following will always be people who eating cake instead of bread, like Marie Antoinette. You don't know. You will never know what sufferation is. You will never know that this nation, that's supposed to be the 3rd richest nation in the Western world, has shit all to show for all of you. For all of you ever having had government. Instead of all of you apologizing to the nation like Kamala. Kamala said, well, UNC, sorry for the errors. And I asked one question. Name them. What do you consider an error, Kamala? Because I could help you. I could help you list some of your errors that maybe you should be apologizing to the nation for. 62 billboards of your face spent with public money deifying you, the lady Kamala Mania. I would start there. Kamala, I would ask you, was it an error to fire Gary Griffith as Minister of National Security over Anand Ramlogan and David West? Was that an error, Kamala? Because in Trinidad and Tobago, we seem to forget, or we conveniently forget, and fail to take responsibility for this nation. And I say again, I will put everything on the line. I will make myself available every single day and every single night until the next elections. And if the Progressive Empowerment Party doesn't win, I will be just as happy as if we did, because I will know that I did my best. To the woman who attacked me today for highlighting again, they keep bringing back the little picture of the little black boy, 15 years old, wiping windscreens by Superfarm in a P&M jersey. And they keep using that as an example of racism, because I highlighted the fact that all the P&M has ever done is climb up on little black boys like him, climb up on their back and fool them. That's all the P&M has ever done. You don't see Keith Rowley sitting down in Adam's Bagels having breakfast with a little black boy like him. You don't. And you don't see little Syrian children wiping glass for a buck, looking for a hustle and a dollar. You don't. You don't. And the truth of the fact of the matter is, and I said it last week, I feel like a month ago, I feel like a year ago, last week when I said on the radio, black people in this country are at the bottom rung of the ladder, regardless of who is in government. Regardless. Kamala wanted to create 50,000 jobs. When she was in government, she took them up in Hilton and create Color Me Orange, put them in jumpsuit and send them to cut grass on the side of the road. That's jobs, Kamala. The Progressive Empowerment Party, when we talk, we tell you, now you could copy, and all of you could copy and paste and thief, and use the media, Sapgun News Network and massive media to hide us. But the public know. That's why all this gets so much jam. That is why Kamala, no matter how many drunks and disorderlies that you paid to come and stand up, to pretend to be interested in the bullshit you were saying at your 30th anniversary, you get 22 shares on Facebook. Because nobody cares. Nobody cares. There is nothing you have to sell that any of us need to buy. There is no trust left in the United National Congress. It stands for under no circumstances, because the PNM is a cancer, but the UNC, a chemo. The UNC is more cancer, and you can't fight cancer with cancer. Trinidad and Tobago is broken by deliberate design. The middle class is now the working poor, and the poor are now destitute. We are broken. All of a sudden, things started to make sense. All of a sudden, things started to make money. All of a sudden, it's time to fool black people, fool Indian people, time to mislead the followers, bring the race games, give us a Nalini, give us a Satmaraj, boom, bam, boom, send them to the polls, vote yourself a new massa, call it a day. Trinidad and Tobago, where are we and where are we going? Ask yourself of everything we've ever done in this country, why is this all we have to show for it? Why? Stuart Young said we're working to secure the border. Somebody asked, no, 4 years later. You're in office 4 years, you're working now? Now you're working to secure the borders? Now? 2 weeks ago you told Kejan Haynes on TV6 they can't secure Trinidad borders like America. They're too big. We could fit in America 150,000 times. This jackass compared the size of our tiny hole in the water to the United States of America and said, can't fix. Now, we're working to secure the borders. Stuart Young, miss us with your bullshit, you stunting trapeze artists.
I visited Parliament Chamber, witness an orchestra, a band, of only politicians, rated their performances, talent and endurance, a band of parliamentarians. Politics that encourage hate, making good folks discriminate, bridges displaced by gates, nurturing racism, prejudice and tribalism, multiculturalism. What is that? Nomadism from the UNC and the PNM, COPND, political symphony, it's a symphony, the TOP, MSJ and JSC and D, political symphony, it's a symphony. Stop taking it cool, don't be playing for a fool, they're using race as a tool, to divide, conquer and rule, to justify their bull, the race can they always pull.
last year take a little black boy in Adams and buy him a bagel and a coffee. Strike that. Forget that. You and I know that will never happen. You don't like black people. The truth of the matter is the People's National Movement is not the black people's national movement. And the day the black people wake up to the reality, I worry for my country. Because when black people realize mommy and tanty and granny and great-grandma get buried suffering for no reason, when the president of the Jamaican Prime Minister, looking for an article by the Jamaican Prime Minister who all but insulted this nation and spoke about what we did with our fortune, with our good fortune, this country that was best. This article that was written Sunday in the Express reads like it was written in Pepper headquarters. If you read Ralph Maraj, you say, but Ralph is a Pepper. If you read Martin Daly, all these little shit snakes, like sidekick. I see Stefan get a new sidekick. Stefan never reason Petrotrim didn't want him back here. He was a security guard. He had a doctor. Check him out. Watch what he parroting on your station, because I want to tell you something. That little pissant coming dangerously close to a defamation lawsuit. And if it is broadcast on Synergy TV airwaves, I want your owners to know I'm coming for the deepest pockets. I ain't playing no more. This was in the Express newspaper. The Inter-American Development Bank has confirmed what everybody but the willfully blind already knows. I did not write this. This was the editor of the Trinidad Express. They might fire him because what he's written here is the God's honest truth. Given the billions and billions of dollars that have passed through this country, thanks to the natural resources with which our land is blessed, we should be enjoying a much higher quality of life with a lot more to show for it. Again, I did not write this. As reported in yesterday's Sunday Express, an IDB study titled Building Opportunities for Growth in a Challenging World ranked Trinidad and Tobago second to last among Latin American and Caribbean countries in the perception of infrastructure quality against per capita income. Jesus Howard Christ, a nation that had 56 years of booms and spent $3 trillion, we're ranked second to last in the infrastructure to per capita. That means what Grenada, St. Vincent, Dominica, Antigua, what they did, what Guyana did with their scarce resources, outshone what we did with our bounty. Special mention was made about poor roads, limited ports, aging water distribution infrastructure, and limited sanitation network and energy inefficiencies. As shocking as it is for TNT to be ranked so lowly, the IDB study only scratches the surface of the lived reality for hundreds of thousands of people in this country. Let me insert here Morva, Beetham, Laventille, Silot, Enterprise, Mbakadere, River Estate Partner, Morva, Gonzales, Belmont, Cocorit, Waterhole, Harding Place, Abipujad, Big Yard, Scorpion, Point Kumana, Sanganga, Mason, Factory Road, Covine, Rich Plain, all of them are PNM diehard constituencies. While the transport problems for urban Trinidad and Tobago is largely about traffic jams, in parts of rural Trinidad communities endure a complete absence of roads or roads reduced to rubble, isolation due to untended landslides and collapsed bridges, and a lack of public transport which forces the most vulnerable to pay the highest prices for getting in and out of their areas. It didn't say in illegal private taxis because we've never been able to even organize that. We couldn't organize a piss up in a brewery. Trinidad and Tobago is completely failed. I don't care who you talk to, what they want to defend. This woman, Anne, sounded to me like she was speaking like the vagrant we went to feed Christmas time, who looked entirely happy, covered head to toe in his own yellow running feces that he was picking up from a puddle he had on the ground and wiping his face and body with. That is what Anne Darden sounded like to me when she was defending the madness of a completely destroyed La Perouse cemetery and pretending that because there are a couple of monuments inside of there, a couple of mausoleums built by the fabulously rich centuries ago, that somehow that defends the rest of the madness. The country's proud boast of a 95% supply of pipe-borne water rings hollow to the growing number of people who not only have no water in their pipes, but have no reliable alternative truck-borne supply. Over 30 years ago, put that in a little pipe, light it and smoke it. The late Jamaican Prime Minister Michael Manley captured this country's wasteful deployment of its income with the pithy observation that the petro boom was passing through Trinidad and Tobago like a dose of salts. When a dog bites a frog and is about to die, you hold him by the back of his neck, open his mouth, and ram salt down his throat. If you do it successfully, he will puke and shit at the same time and get the poison out his system. That's what we did with our money. In the years since then, successive governments still have not figured out how to transform higher income into a higher standard of living. What governments more quickly master is the art of profligacy, higher consumption and waste during periods of plenty, and non-strategic belt tightening when the cycle switches to lean. Now, the Express just came very close to saying our governments have been bandits and thieves. That's all they've been. They've never worked for the people. Kamala, Keith, Manning, Panday, not one ass between them. They may have built a couple things. You may have gotten a box train outside your house or a pavement, or your child's school may have gotten a roof. But it doesn't match to the amount of money that we've had or the amount of value we should have spent. We've made some people like Michael Nahus and his family fabulously wealthy. That shouldn't be. That cannot explain why they are when so many of our people have a disproportionate amount of money. And I had to explain to somebody today why Trinidadians are so angry. Because they asked me, why are Trinidadians so angry? I said, listen. And we happened to be driving past Betham at the time. I said, listen, if your labor for the day pays you $13 an hour to dig a hole in Trinidad, and you get your $13 an hour, it doesn't compare to if your labor in New York City pays you $13 an hour to dig the same hole. Because the $13 that you get in New York City could buy you 13 meals of $1 menu in 5 different restaurants. $13 meals of a 5 different restaurants, 1 hour's work. In Trinidad and Tobago, $13 can buy you 2 doubles. The value of our money is toilet paper. Now you might explain it away as that's just how it is. The sky, the moon, the sun, you could say that about the rotation of the earth. That's just how it is. Because we've not found a way to impact anything upon them as yet. But we move mountains, we raise valleys, we empty seas. We are a capable people. We've escaped Earth's gravity and put people into space. We've left our galaxy filming and sending images back. We are a capable race. But in Trinidad and Tobago, we've not learned in a nation, hear me here, hear me clear, hear me well, in a nation that more than our income is exported than imported, because otherwise we would have shut down long time ago. We export more than we import, at least up until we had owned a petrotrain. But for all that time, not one of these bouncy economists could explain to me why our dollar is 677 to 1 other than to facilitate the selling of Charles chocolate and chubby sweet drink to America. Because to nobody else does the value of our money make sense or add value. We should have long ago, a long time ago, admitted defeat, that we have no clue what we're doing where economic management is concerned, that we are a nation of thieves and bandits, and abandon the Trinidad currency altogether. The Trinidad currency facilitates the banking class applying a 13% tax to the economy because only they are allowed to sell foreign exchange. So you have to, by law, sell it to them. Because Colm and the police could come and lock you up if they find out you is one of the Chinese supermarkets selling US on the black market 10 to 1. And this is our reality as a country, that if that wasn't so, if it was controlled, if we said that the spread on the buying and the selling of US dollars was maintained, then the country would operate on a different level. But we can't find our US Because PNM and UNC government ministers, their friends, family, and financiers have stolen billions of Trinidad and Tobago dollars. They've stolen billions of dollars. We can't account for the billions. This is what the Express just said. Nobody knows where it's gone. Billions and billions of dollars under Kamala. Billions and billions of dollars under Keith. Billions and billions of dollars stolen under Pandey. Billions and billions of dollars stolen under Manning. And that money cannot leave Trinidad and Tobago as toilet paper. It leaves as US. We have criminally corrupt people buying up our US, friends in the banking sector, friends in central bank, supplying them with hundreds of thousands of US dollars that they are shipping out of Trinidad and Tobago in droves. That's why we cannot account for our US. That's why they can't balance it, because it's leaving Trinidad and Tobago in droves. We are selling stuff, getting the US, and then these criminal, corrupt people are buying up all the US with toilet paper, Trinidad dollars, and shipping it out to other jurisdictions never to be seen again. Also, do not forget the narco-state drug trade, of which we are a major transshipment point and player, does not trade in Trinidad and Tobago toilet paper dollars. All the coke buyers who are buying hundreds of millions of dollars of cocaine to pass through Trinidad and Tobago to put into juice cans and car parts and ship abroad, that is also purchased in US. That US don't come back to Trinidad. That don't come back here. That sleeps outside. There is nobody in this country, no minister of finance ever, no central bank governor ever, who have ever really explained to the people of this country how our triple economy works. Our triple economy is the oil and gas that comes into the country that is looted from the top down. Then there is the drug trafficking that takes place through Trinidad and Tobago, and the money laundering of cocaine, narco dollars from Mexico and now Venezuela that ship to Trinidad and Tobago through periods. When I ask Keith Rowley and Kamala Persad-Bissessar, Basdeo Pandey and Patrick Manning why they have never secured the nation's borders, is because I want them to account for what happens with the US dollars that come through here, coke dollars that get sanitized in business chains in Trinidad and Tobago that buying shit and selling it here. I remember once a man made a complaint that you could have bought a tin of corned beef in Massey stores cheaper than it cost to buy it from the wholesaler manufacturer in Argentina. We are a broken nation. Those with power, those with access to the treasury, those with access to state, to the parliament, to the legislature, to law. We are a broken nation. Our biggest criminals are our Chamber of Commerce, our Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association. We've had entire cabinets of people that can't explain their wealth coming in or going out. The reality of Trinidad and Tobago requires, behooves, insists, demands that you go to Vasant Bharat's meetings and ask him to explain what was his role in all that took place under the United National Congress, People's Partnership Government. In what way was he in any way an accomplice before or after the fact that assisted any of his friends and comrades and colleagues? Watch Stephen Cadiz, Herbert Volney, Mariano Brown, Louis Leasing, Vasant Bharat, Stacey Rupnarayan. These are cast-offs. These are B players, placeholders under former governments who, like former senators and former ministers in the PNM and the UNC, who learned how the banditry is done, so they come in for their shift to take apart. All Vasant Bharat and his band of never-do-wells are interested in doing to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. All of a sudden, everybody progressive, to the point where a young man whose father died, his father escaped jail and was shot dead in the street, that his son, who was a brilliant boy in university, he, who got a little reputation being a senator, because he's good optics, he is a well-spoken black man. So that is a saleable political asset every 5 years. He could get himself a post. He could get himself a position. Others are misusing him, misleading him, and misguiding him. And they are sending him to be used against the Progressive Empowerment Party to pass themselves off as the PEP. They are forming themselves a party called the Progressive Party. Now, I want to say, imitation may be the sincerest form of flattery. And I get that. And I get that, so I laugh and joke at all of the spin-offs and spill-offs and the collapses, because none of them last. They don't last. But what they're going to do is they're going to distract you. And you'll forget that there was an OIC and a PACT and an AOI and now a Me Too and then a Progressive Party. And their job is to work for their handlers, for whoever's handling the money. And they may not even know, you know. They may not even know, and to all the shit snakes that pass through the Progressive Empowerment Party that think for a minute they could threaten or strong arm me, they have no idea the level of demand that they're dealing with. I take on the 1% and the contract mafia. I am the only person in this country that does it. There is nobody else that have that much belly, balls, or backbone, or the ability and the knowledge that I have. And I say that not with arrogance, but with a fact. I call these people auntie and uncle. I know what they've been doing. I've been seeing it for all of my life. I have a clear understanding of the path we need to travel to get from being a corrupt banana republic, narco state, shithole cesspool of a failed nation to being first world and developed. Let's talk that. Where would you start, Philip? The first thing that we have to address is the fact that we do not have quality jobs in this country. Now, a job is a job. And to a hungry man, if you put him to shine your shoe, if you could get him a plate of food, he will shine your shoes. But at some point, if his belly gets full, he's going to want more. And if you don't have no way up the ladder for him shining shoes, it's not going to last. And he's not going to be happy. And the quality of life index, the happiness index of a country is important. But we've never charted that here. Here we live in a class war that was said so eloquently by Peter George Sr., whose son wanted to form a political party. Peter George Sr. said that the middle class job is to protect the elites from the poor in case them rise up. You needed a buffer. That's what the man said. Without hesitation. This is how they think. It's like when Winston Gypsy Peters sat down in his first cabinet meeting and Jack Warner and Rudolph Monilal make a joke and say, if carnival is distract them, we will give them 3 carnivals. Winston Gypsy Peters was the Minister of Culture when he went out in public and had a press conference and announced that Trinidad and Tobago was going to have 3 carnivals. In the UNC's first year, they had to call him back and tell him, boy, we was talking shit. We was joking. And he had to say, we're looking into it. We're looking into it. The truth of the matter is, and this is to everybody listening, only the Progressive Empowerment Party has had the ability to throw open the windows, pull aside the drapes, and let fresh air into the dank and stink atmosphere that is Trinidad and Tobago. Only the Progressive Empowerment Party has changed the national conversation. We dictate the narrative. Kamala stood up. Kamala stood up without shame, without guile. Kamala stood up in front of a banner that said UNC and proud, knowing that she stole that saying from the Progressive Empowerment Party. In a bunch of drunks and paid attendees She talked a crocus bag of ass nobody is interested in. Nobody at all. The United National Congress is a failed version of what Bastio Pandey used the Indian people to do. You see, Bastio Pandey rode a wave of East Indian discontent when Arthur Napoleon Raymond Robinson declared himself the Uni of Ife from Africa. And Pandey said, I will take the Indians and go. Now, Indian people, to their credit, just wanted a government, just like how Archbishop Barbara Burke in the Shouter Baptist just wanted a government to legitimize them. Legitimize us, because after Eric Williams called the Indians in the country a recalcitrant minority, they've been trying to find their way back from that. So if Bastio Pandey and Ramesh Lawrence Maharaj, remember Ramesh? Ramesh was the lawyer when Pandey sent Pamela Gokul up the ladder. Ramesh is the lawyer who bring Pamela Gokul back down. You all remember your history? Stick a pin. Because Michaela Pandey seems to think that 30 years ago, Jesus Christ and Mother Lakshmi reached down and touched the ground. And out of that, the UNC was formed. But that's not where it came from. The UNC is just another version of the PNM. That the PNM who climbs up on black people back to advantage them, the UNC does that to Indian people at the behest of their handlers. The same people that Marcia Braveboy putting out in a picture, look who Rowley having breakfast with, was making hundreds of millions of dollars under Kamala. So miss us with your bullshit. You was in bed with the same demons. You was in bed with the same devils. You was doing the same nonsense. When John Rahal was sent to cut every Indian throat in this country and shut down Caroni, they did it with a UNC plan. And that's the truth. That is the absolute truth. And the Kamala Prasad Bisesa, who told the nation in 2010 that she rose to government, she rose along the path bundling Bodhi and selling Baji, left Caroni Limited, shut down growing razor grass at the instructions of Hadco, Amco, ADM, Massey, and all the food importers who get to sell lettuce in this country 15 times the price and the value. I posted yesterday that it is now cheaper to buy an apple than a mango in Trinidad and Tobago. The land where if you have a mango tree in your yard, all you do in whole day is picking up mango and throwing it away. Because when a mango tree comes into bloom, when it bears embarrassing amounts. You're giving it away. You're telling people, come in my yard, pick up all the mango you want and take it. We can't plant mango trees. We can't plant 1 million breadfruit trees. We can't plant 1 million guava trees. We importing tamarind from Mexico. We can't plant 1 million soursop. We can't feed this nation because a couple contract mafia bribers want to get richer. We can't run this country to the point. You can't get a government. Vasant Bharat was Minister of Agriculture, did the same shit that Clarence Rambarat doing now. Grow nothing. I know a farmer that has 100 acres under Pump City. You will never know, and I can't call his name, because he don't sell his Pump City in Trinidad. He lives like a millionaire, because his Pump City crop sold before it bare. And the country of Trinidad and Tobago has fruits like pomerac. Do you know that a pomerac has 10 times the fiber of an apple and more vitamin C? Does not require waxing and poisoning. That if you ate one pomerac, it has the nutrition value of 5 red apples. That's what we have. That we throw away a guava 5 times the vitamin C of an orange. Soursop, natural cancer fighter. Breadfruit, the only low glycemic starch on the planet, that instead of spiking your sugar the way white potato, rice, and wheat does, stabilizes your sugar, gives you energy all day. These are the fruits that grow naturally. Pawpaw, all the maraschino cherry and bullshit you see they importing and selling back to you, all them little green, yellow, and orange thing inside sweetbread, all of it is pawpaw, colored and flavored. We have that. We have the most potent seasoning, parsley, shadow belly. I mean, come on. This country has a bounty. Our fertile land could grow the most nutritious diet for the people of Trinidad and Tobago, but it wouldn't have made the Haddad family rich, and it wouldn't have made Massey rich, and it wouldn't make the shareholders of Massey rich, and that's all they care about. They don't care about Trinidad and Tobago. When the Chamber of Commerce meets, it doesn't meet to fix Trinidad and Tobago. When DOMA meets, Gregory Aboud doesn't care that all of the businesses, all of the government offices, if you move them from Port of Spain and put them in the center of the island, it would benefit everybody but him. But him. Like the St. James Businessmen Association, who found that the Jack Warner traffic plan that cut the commute out of Diego Martin in half worked too well, and they lost business from the people caught in ransom in a traffic jam. All of this you know, none of it is news to you. The reality of the fact is 1% greed and 99% laziness. It couldn't have been so easy to divide us from each other if we weren't easily divided in the first place. Indian people have to dislike black people at a fundamental level, and black people likewise for Indian people, for this to have ever been able to happen. Because in a real nation with real people, they would have embraced each other and told the politicians, miss us with your bullshit, come with policies that fix the nation, and don't divide me against my brother and my sister so that you could take advantage of the country and plunder the treasury. Don't do that. Give us a chance at a real developed first world nation, the third wealthiest in the Western Hemisphere. Come to us and tell us we will work with the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Set a vision, set a path, set a plan. Work to make it a reality. Like a rising tide lifts all boats. Give everybody hope and opportunity so that in the first 5 and 10 years, this is a country worth living in. I heard a story the morning of my sister's funeral that I didn't know. My father had a store on Western Main Road called His and Hers Alexander's for years when I was growing up. And I heard a story that I didn't know because my sister's Fayan Alexander Jardine. And while they were burying her, while we were eulogizing her, her daughter told a story that her grandfather told of a time. A fellow named Austin came into his store in St. James and he was a regular frequent shopper at the boutique, and he saw my dad's young daughter and he fell in love with her. He fell in love with her name. He loved her name so much he said when he has a daughter, he would name her. And he named Fayan Lyons after my sister. The man was blue boy, super blue. My family, so Trini to the bone. I just hear people watch my light caramel complexion and want to give me talks, but I know what we as a people, what we are, what we're capable of, our roots tied together so deep in the earth. And instead of us standing together in unity for water, for jobs, for affordable living against a rapacious and plundering financial banking sector, instead of us standing together for affordable food and good governance, we're fighting each other. We're working against each other, united in sufferation. of bad roads and no water and no jobs and poor salaries and weak dollar, no vision, no plans, no real law enforcement. It's easy to go and snatch up and shoot up and kill little black hen chicken. But what the 1% and the contract mafia getting away with is a crime of inestimable epic proportions. And we need to bring this country back, because we are never going to be the country we were supposed to be if we continue to pretend that what passes for government, what passes for leadership in the PNM and the UNC and any of their has-beens and cast-offs is anything we ever really need. We will never find our way back under shit snakes like Stuart Young and Bassam Baran, Rudal Munilal and Coleman Bird, Mariano Brown and Louis Leasing had nothing for you. And you have to wake up to that. Because if you don't stand up and fight for your own country, we are going to continue to fail as a nation, and you will have only yourself to blame.
Every day I sit and wonder.
Point and cut to the chase. Right now, a coup is brewing in Venezuela. Venezuela is a spit and a toss away from Trinidad and Tobago. We have nothing in place to protect us. The elephants are about to trample the grass. We, the ants of the Caribbean, are about to be trampled along with it, because we have voted charlatans into office that have chosen instead to leave the borders wide open to facilitate drug lords and money launderers instead of securing the nation and operating it really with an understanding of the welfare and the well-being of all the citizens, the purpose responsibility of government. So now we find ourselves at a place where the United States government has told its army, strap up boys, we're going in. What is this country to do if there is a Chinese and Russian response? What is to happen here? The people in Venezuela, if they are displaced, where do you think they're going? What's about to happen? What is about to happen? We on Facebook talking a crocus bag of ass about Yankee imperialism. Shout that shit at the wave of refugees about to hit these shores and empty the groceries. And you're going to get crowded out of your own life. You are going to find things like hunger and the inability to access the most basic of necessities, because we didn't prepare for rain during drought. And our reality is going to get progressively worse. And we have possibly one last chance at a real Trinidad and Tobago, but we have to take real measures. Last Saturday at noon, Stanmore Avenue was packed. This Saturday at noon, we're there again. Come out in your numbers. Come and be a part. Let's spill out into the yard. Let's spill out into the road. Come and have your say. Come and add your voice to the conversation. Growing mass, a wave of patriots. If we are the most imitated party, what does that tell you? If we are the party whose policies are most plagiarized, what does that tell you? If Philip Edward Alexander is on the tip of the tongue of every political pretender and mocking talking head that could take our $5 on a cheese sandwich to show up on a TV show, if I and this party are the most talked about, why do you think that might be? If Trinidad and Tobago woke up to its own self and its own responsibility, if blacks and Indians put aside racism for one shot at a real government, I promise Morvan, Beetham, Laventille and Sealots, we will twin you and transform you until you can't tell Beetham from Westmoreland. That is a reality that a real government could do. And if you want that for yourself, I was just advised, and we have so much going on as the Progressive Empowerment Party. This Saturday, we are having our third, is it the third or the fourth? Pep Market, Lion Civic Center. It's the Mother's Day, it's the Mother's Day edition. Come out and join with us as we work together to give everybody good deals, good bargains, chances at raising and making some money. Come and be a part of it this Saturday. The doors open at 10 o'clock, Lions. It's the Mother's Day edition of the Pep Market. Real good deals. As usual, we have the barrel stall where we have barrels of bountiful stuff sent to Trinidad from the Pep, Toronto, New York, and soon to be from the Florida team. Real nice, good stuff, real good bargains, real good deals. Come out this Saturday. If you are a vendor or a seller of any produce or any kind of product and you still haven't yet registered, reach out to Felicia Holder tonight. And before we go on with the song, I want to ask those of you who follow us religiously and who know how hard we work and how much we do. Tomorrow evening, you're going to see live on social media another step in the action taken by the Progressive Empowerment Party to bring reason to this nation blighted by mismanagement and lawlessness from the top down, where we write laws that only the well-heeled and the well-connected could break them. Well, we are going to expose that tomorrow evening at 4 o'clock. Mark your calendar. Turn on social media at 4 o'clock tomorrow because you're going to get some information. So you're going to get some information. Those of you who can afford to help us right now, our PayPal account, the members will share with you the information as to how you could donate money. Christopher Karim is almost telling me you need to establish a wider reach so more and more people become familiar with PEP policies, and he's right. We need to get more billboards. We need to do 2 days of radio to 4. We're launching a TV show, Plain Talk, that's coming soon. Satish and Baxter and the rest of the crew have almost finished building the studio. Pep Media has a meeting this Thursday, and it's being relocated to Stanmore Avenue. It was supposed to be Sagre Grande. All of you who are in Pep Media, we're relocating to Stanmore to launch Plain Talk. It's going to be a weekly TV show that may very well become a nightly show. But we need money to do all of these things, and everybody who's suggesting that we do more, we want to do more. We are capable of doing more, but we need your help. We need your financing because we eschew and turn our backs on the 1% and the contract mafia. But we're still fighting a money war, and our army travels on its stomach. Now, I've heard bullshit like Pep pays rents for people and salaries for people. This is a party that all the money that we get, we use for all the work that we do. And contrast and compare it. I was very proud when the leader of the Congress of the People asked me on a radio show, where do we get the money from to do all the things that we do? We work very hard for it. This Saturday is a Pep Market. On the 25th of May, we're having a big party in Catalyst nightclub. We're having a Back to the 70s. It's a fundraiser. It's $100 a ticket. Those tickets go on sale tomorrow. We have a raffle coming, and then our annual barbecue. We don't stop. Of course, we benefit from selling t-shirts and all the other things that we get. We have a lot of support from our overseas people. This is how we operate the Progressive Empowerment Party, very transparently. And if you are in any way able to make a donation to help us take this mission to a next level and further, please, please find it in your heart to contribute to this growing movement and help us grow it more. Because if not us, who? If not now, when? Mother Trini crying. She crying. She broken. She don't know what to say next. A river of blood and dry water taps. Nobody have jobs, nobody have hope. A nation vexed. People set on edge. They're unhappy. You and I, us, we have the responsibility to rescue it from this small handful of disgusting, deceitful, disingenuous, hateful, rapacious, plundering, looting, greedy, lawless lawyers, politicians, businessmen. It's a small handful called the contract mafia, but they know how to leverage a tipping point. They know how to use things like media against everybody else. The Guardian that will give Vasan Bharat telling people call on him and he will form a party. Vasan Bharat, people ain't calling on you to come to their party. Relax yourself, pat down. You have nothing for Trinidad and Tobago. Michaela, every now and then she'll put out a post. All of these people looking to snatch up and link up and say, we was always UNC. Come elections time when everybody get their bag of money. Stop entertaining bag of money politics. You have every good reason. And to those of you who say we need to do more to reach out, when Martin Luther King assembled 1 million men on the mall in Washington, there was no Twitter, there was no social media, and he had no budget for press and TV. It was all done by one telling one. And if you want a better Trinidad and Tobago, share this video, share the messages, share the policies, make a donation. Come to the pep market this Saturday and hang out with us and spend some money or sell or get involved. Come to the meeting next week Saturday. Be involved in the building out of the rescue of Trinidad and Tobago. We have every good opportunity now to fix this place. You just have to want it as much as us. And if you do, if we become the critical mass, if we become the tipping point that changes the way we do politics, then we will change the way we do governance. And if we get to there, everybody will be happy in Trinidad and Tobago. We have a website. We don't have to make a big furor and a big fanfare. We have a website, peptt.com. We have a PEP app that is also yours to download free of charge. 347-4PEP is the hotline for just about anything. peptrinbago@gmail.com, likewise the email address. And if you forget all of that, message me and I'll get you on to the right person that you need to talk to for anything that you need to know. We are building out your party. If you want to be a part of the movement that like a rising tide lifts all boats, if you want to be the bridge that unites all the people under one flag, if you want a better Trinidad and Tobago for yourself and your loved ones, join the Progressive Empowerment Party. Talk Progressive Empowerment Party. Speak it to the four winds, to the four corners of the earth. Speak Progressive Empowerment Party. Speak it into the universe. Say, we are going to be the difference that we always knew we always needed. Come and be a part of the change Trinidad and Tobago desperately needs. We are waiting on you. Stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.